Hey loves, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we are going to learn how to make this draped detail on this dress. I did not use a skin net for the yoke, but I'll also show you guys how to add a skin net to it. My client didn't want her skin to be showing, so I used her lace instead. So I'm using a princess dart for this. First of all, I'll measure the wideness of the yoke. I want mine to be 4 inches wide. So from the center, I am measuring 2 inches because it is on fold, right? So I'll also extend the wideness of the neck. I want my neck width to be 4.5. The wideness of the neck should be like wide enough. It should be like 9-10 inches after sewing. So I'll connect to my new neckline. You can see I used 3 before, but I extended it to 4.5, and then the wideness of the yoke is 4. So after that, you measure how deep you want the yoke to be, like the neck depth of the yoke to be. So I want the yoke to start at 9 inches. First of all, you draft your princess dart, and then you cut out the yoke. So the yoke will start at 9 inches and it will have a straight line. If you check the net has a straight line. So right now I will go ahead and cut out the neck depth and then cut out the neck width. So you can see how my neckline is. It looks like a square neckline. So after that, I'll go ahead and smoothen the yoke line, and I'll also label it. This one at the center is my yoke. So you cut this one out on your skin net. If you want to use another fabric, you cut it out on another fabric. So I'll go ahead and cut out. For now, I will not cut out my yoke. I'll cut out my yoke after I must have finished taking my body measurement and the rest. So I want to cut out that area for now. So after that, I will place the center front on the side. You guys know how I normally take my body measurements. I will place my center front on the side and make sure that all the lines are aligning. Then after doing that, you go ahead and take your bust measurement plus divided by 4 plus 2 inches seam allowance. The waist measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches seam allowance. Then after marking, you connect your lines. So after doing that, you go ahead and cut out the side measurements. So after cutting the side measurements, you go ahead and cut out your yoke. But you guys have noticed that I did not cut out my yoke until I am done cutting out my full body measurement. So using the front, I will cut out the back. For the back, I did not add a zipper allowance to it. I want to tie the back, so I will cut out the armhole. You can see that I did not add any zipper allowance at the back. So I'll cut out the armhole. I'll cut out the side measurements. So after I must have done that, I'll also mark my neck, the wideness of my neck. I'll also mark where it is so that the wideness of the front and the back will be the same. So after doing that, I'll go ahead and subtract 2 inches from the back. I did not add any zipper allowance, right? So after that, I'll still go ahead and remove 2 inches from the back because I want the back to be wide so that after joining, the back side will be open. So I'll go in by 2 inches and I'll go ahead and cut off that 2 inches. So after cutting out the 2 inches, I will now make like a V neckline. You can see where I marked the neck width of the front. So I'll make like a V neckline to meet that point where I marked my neck width. So this is the back for now, and that is all. I will not add any darts to this. I don't normally use darts at my back. I use them when necessary, not all the time. So I'll also go ahead and cut out the yoke. So like I told you guys earlier, I will not cut out my yoke on a net. I want to use the lace at the yoke. So I'll go ahead and cut out all this on my fabric. So I am done cutting out on my fabric, and this is what I have. This is the yoke. You can see I used a lace, but I will not add a lining to the lace. I want the lace to be transparent. This is the yoke. This is the center front. The center front has the paper on it, and I've also cut out the wording for the breast pad. I don't know if I have cut out the breast pad. You can see the breast pad for the front is looking very small. It is still okay. And remember, your breast pad will stop at the under bust. So here is the back. I have cut out the back, and I cut out 4 lining, because I will use one lining to line the main lace, and then I will use the other lining to turn the whole fabric. So this is the front. I will add my pad to my lining before joining my lace to it. So this is the front. I'll go ahead and place their lace on them, like respectively. I'll place all their lace on them. Remember, I have added my pad to the lining first of all before placing my lace on them. If you are using an ankara, you only cut out one lining. So this is the yoke. You can see the yoke. I did not add any lining under. It is a kind of transparent. So this is the back. I'll also go ahead and place the lace on the main lining. So I'll go ahead and place the lace on the main lining, then I'll pin down. So I'll go to my sewing machine and join this lace to the lining first before joining every other thing. So this is the lining that we use to turn the back. So right now I am done turning the back. You can see how it looks. I'll open the back, like I'll add an eyelet to the back. So this is the front. I am done joining. This is how it looks. I'll show you guys the inside. So this is how the front looks. I joined the breast pad of one side to one side, and this is their lining also. So right now I'll introduce my yoke. I'll go ahead and add my yoke in between. The yoke will be at the center. So after adding the yoke, I will turn the neckline with the lining. So I am done adding the yoke. This is how the yoke looks, though I have not turned it with my lining. Had it been I used a net, you guys would have seen the joining and everything. So this is the inside. You can see my pad. So I'll go ahead and turn the neckline with their lining. I'll turn the right side with its lining. I'll turn the other side with the lining. So I am done, and this is what I have. You can see the yoke at the center. That is my lace. So after doing that, you mark your body measurements on the front, then you place the back at the sides and pin down. You can see I did not even bother placing the back while measuring. Just mark your body measurements on the front and then fix the sides. And after joining, you go ahead and trim your half length. After trimming your half length, you also go ahead and cut your armhole. So when you are doing that, remember to place a fabric under the bust area so that you can get your half length measurement perfectly. So I am cutting my armhole right now. So after cutting my armhole, I will go ahead and join this upper part to the lower part of the dress, and that is it. Remember to add your sleeve. So this is what I have. It is looking basic right now, so I'll go ahead and start my draping. So for my draping, I used 1.5 yard of doll face, and I divided the 1.5 yard into 2. I divided the 1.5 yard into 2. Like, I divided it horizontally. I did not divide straight. I divided horizontally. So after dividing, I'll go ahead and fold all the rough edges. I will hem the rough edges. Then I'll come and place it on my dress. If you have a dress form, this job will be very easy for you. So I'll go ahead and place it on my dress form. And then I'll start draping. So if you do not drape this on a flat surface, please make sure you place it on your mannequin. So I have done my first drape. I'll go ahead and fold the second one. So you take your time, you do this gradually. So I will make my second fold, and that fold will be facing the outside. Like it will not come, it will not be facing the neckline, it should be facing the sleeve area. You can see it is facing outside. So I have done the second one. As I'm doing, I will be pinning down, then I'll also bring it to the front and pin. So after the pinning and stuff, you have to tack everything down with your needle. This is a needle work, so you have to tack everything down with your needle. So it will take a while, but you get what you want. So after doing that, I'll go ahead and make my last pleat. So I told you guys that the 1.5 yard, I divided it vertical, horizontally. Like I folded the I don't know how to explain this. I cut it horizontally. You know, if you buy a doll face, you have like two sides. This one will have a rough edge, the other mouth, or just like a tape mouth, very like one mouth will be rough, the other mouth will be rough as well. So I made the rough mouth or the rough edges of the doll face to be facing each other, and then I divided from the center. So I am done draping, and I'm cutting off the rough edge. So this drape will stop at the half length. So the draping will stop at the half length. So for the back, I'll show you guys how I did the back as well. So remember to pin everything at the shoulder area and at the waist area. It is very, very important. So I'll start the other side. I'll repeat everything that I did on this side. Then I'll make my second fold. You can see the second fold is facing outside. It is facing the sleeve area. Then I'll pin at the shoulder. Then I'll make the last one. So after making the last one, I'll also go ahead and tack it down using my needle. Like first of all, you sew the doll face together, like you stitch the doll face together before attaching it to the main fabric. So I have not shown you guys how to do the back. So after doing this, after sewing this side, I'll go ahead and trim off the excess, and then I'll also stitch down the other side. So I am done with the front. Right now we'll turn over to the back. So for the back, I'll advise you to finish the draping on a flat surface. Since you have gotten the front one is curved, so I'll advise you guys to finish the draping on a flat surface so that you can get the perfect length for the back. Because if you drape on this mannequin, you can see how the back part is folding. If you drape on this mannequin, you will not actually get the full length of the back. So it is better you do this on a flat surface so that you can get the actual measurement. So right now I'll go ahead and stitch down and then cut. I'll also repeat the same thing on the other side of the back. So after arranging everything, I'll go ahead and add my band. So I added the first band and I noticed that it was too big. The wideness was too big. So I had to change it. So this is the band I used for the video, but that was not what I used for the main dress. I noticed that it was way bigger. So I had to reduce it. So you go ahead and pin your band round. So you pin it up to the back area, and after everything you have to like stitch down with your needle before sewing. And so guys, that's the end of the draping. Every other thing is needle work, so I'll go ahead and add just a little trimming around the yoke area. So go ahead and calm down, then you start using your needle and thread to hold down everything in place. So this is the end of this video, and thank you guys for watching. Please do not forget to subscribe. See you in my next video. Bye.